Yes, people, yes, people, yes, people. Welcome back to the We Talk Football podcast. What a boring midweek set of games in the Champions League. We're going to talk a little bit about it, then we're going to talk a little bit about news in general in football. Chelsea game, one of the most boring games I've ever seen in my life. What did you two think, two Chelsea fans? Let me know your opinions. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, we can go with the boring aspect, or we can put a very biased Chelsea spin on it and sort of look into the concept that, I mean, under Frank Lampard, and I always hate to throw him under the bus, but there was a distinct lack of control. I mean, obviously Mendy came in and a couple of clean sheets came through that. That was great. It looked like he had sort of the defence out to a degree, but really, I mean, that Frank Lampard Chelsea team was very up and down, lots of goals conceded. And I think across these two Porto legs, Tuchel's Chelsea have just seemed very, very domineering, very composed and controlled. Maybe not so much going forward, but particularly when it comes to the defence. And I feel like that is, I mean, defence wins you titles.
But you lost. You lost the game.
We won on aggregate though. And again, in regard to that, we lost the game, which you would have missed the worldie because you turned off, Jay.
Yeah.
I think one of the most interesting things about that is, the goal came out of seemingly nowhere. I think it was potentially their second or third shot on target. And yeah, again, was obviously only a minute left, but I felt complete calm. I was like, I wasn't worried. If that had been, 4 months ago, there would have been some panic around. And like I say, the composure and the control, that is something that is definitely come in under Tuchel and is making me feel a lot better as a Chelsea fan.
Fair play. What about you, Quakes? What do you think?
Yeah, it was what it was.
Yeah, it was dead.
It wasn't the best game, but we got through. So, like, there's no complaints. The team would be very happy going back into the changing room. We've done our job. And barring that worldie they scored in the 3rd minute of added time, they didn't really have a sniff. We obviously went out there with an agenda. We didn't really go out there to play football at all. And as you can see by the performance. We saw the job through pretty comfortably, and it's just like rolling to the semi-finals. There's not much to report about that game. It was one of the worst game footballs I've ever watched.
Yeah, and as much as they didn't have a sniff, I don't think you guys really had a sniff either. It's the most nothing game of football I've seen in a long time. But yeah, like you said, you take that, you're on to the next stage, and I suppose the other game to talk about is the Bayern Munich PSG game. Another game that was really heating up in the latter stages of the second half. What do you think about that one, Quakes?
Oh, so I had both games on, but my eyes were just glued onto the Bayern PSG game. Like Kylian the Coldest, first of his name. He was obviously doing his thing. Neymar Jr., like, I know he had a couple of chances that he missed, but he was doing his thing as well. It was good to watch, like, almost like these Goliaths, these gladiators just clash against each other. And it's a shame that Lewandowski wasn't playing in that game. But yeah, it was really good. One of the best 1-0s you'll probably see. Neymar was pulling out some like ridiculous skills.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was proper back and forth, man. I really, really enjoyed that game. I'm glad to see PSG go through. I think if it's not going to be Chelsea's year, I'd like to see PSG probably win it.
I agree.
PSG, Chelsea final, Tuchel, Pochettino. Interesting.
Who knows? I suppose we'll have to see after tonight's games. What do you think about the game, Louis? Anything else to report on that
one? As you were saying last night, Hernandez, amazing.
Oh yeah.
I mean, are they brothers? They are, aren't they? There's one at Milan.
Yeah, Lucas and Theo, yeah. Or Theo, I should say. Yeah.
I mean, what a pair of footballers. But they were solid. As Quake said, if Lewandowski's playing, might be a different result. Good to see Neymar on that level. Obviously, like you say, Hernandez cancelled him out to a degree, but some of the stuff he was putting out was world class. Sure. And I think, obviously, because Neymar, the first YouTube footballer, heir apparent to Leo and Ronaldo, for like early doors. I mean, I don't think we ever saw that they would go on this long. But it is really nice, I suppose, particularly because there's a Brazilian element as well, to see him hit the heights. So, and then obviously, Kylian.
King Kylian, yeah.
We're going to have a lot of fun with him for the next 10 years, I reckon.
For sure, honourable shout out to Lucas Hernandez, he was top level. As good as Neymar was yesterday, Hernandez in the second half was keeping Bayern Munich in the game. There was a few times where Neymar was playing with the blinkers on. There was that moment in, I think, the 89th minute where he could have squared it to Mbappe. He tried going past him and Hernandez said no. But speaking of PSG and talking a little bit more about some topical news that is in the all over the newspapers this week. Obviously, there was the big breaking news that Harry Kane is expected to let Tottenham know that he wants to leave at the end of the season. Where do you think the most likely destination is for him, Quakes?
It's a difficult one, Harry Kane, because obviously we know how tied he is to Tottenham Hotspur. So I feel like another club in England, maybe another club in London might sever that. So Chelsea are completely out of the question.
Yeah, no go.
Even though there was kind of links, like there were light links earlier on in the week with Harry Kane maybe joining Chelsea, but I just don't think he'd do that to Tottenham. Going to one of the Manchester clubs, I don't think they'd begrudge him from going there. We saw Teddy Sheringham make the move across in a very similar situation and win
Berbatov as well.
Berbatov done the same thing as well, and they're still legends at Tottenham Hotspur. So I feel like a move to one of the Manchester clubs wouldn't sever the ties with Spurs. But again, Harry Kane, I think it's dependent on where Haaland goes. And I feel like the Haaland transfer would then set things in motion, because we don't know if Man City are truly out the running for Haaland, if they're just saying that. We don't know if Harry Kane's going to fit in with what Man City do. So I feel like there's so many options, but I would actually like to see him reunited with Mauricio Pochettino at PSG. I think that would be a great move for Harry Kane. He'd go and win a stupid amount of trophies. Just whether he wants to uproot his family and move to Paris and play in all respects to the league. It's not the best league in the world. So we'll see what he does, but I'd like to see him reunited with Pochettino at PSG.
For sure. And I think of Man City are linked with absolutely everyone at the moment. So you're not surprised at the Harry Kane links. But I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Man City didn't sign either, and they just want to sign someone like a Lautaro Martinez from Inter Milan for like 50, 60 mil, because he's top level. He's probably a bit below Haaland, but yeah, like, do you know what I mean? I think Harry Kane will have his pick of the litter. Being the legend that he is, the only drawback that I see him in going to PSG, and if he'll actually go there, is the fact that he'll want to break that Premier League goal scoring record. And if he goes to PSG, that's going to seriously hamper his chances of doing that. But if he wants to go and win trophies and be guaranteed, leagues every year and be in the running for Champions Leagues, then, PSG, proofs in the pudding. Last year in the finals, this year, they're looking strong, just knocked out the champions. It'll be an interesting one. What do you think, Louis?
I don't think Harry Kane goes anywhere this summer, because Daniel Levy is going to hang on to him for everything he can. I think Daniel Levy letting go Harry Kane is very much a signifier that, I mean, obviously all the Tottenham fans will come to the conclusion of, but I don't think he will. The fact that they're not a big club. Obviously, they've just moved into this big new stadium. There was a lot of talk in the finance world that them getting Mourinho in was very much Daniel Levy sort of, squaring up to sell effectively, with obviously all the debt from the stadium, but all the opportunity, looking to move the club on. And I mean, Harry Kane is very much the talisman of that. So, I mean, it's going to be 150 million this summer, I think, because it's Daniel Levy and he wants to squeeze everything. So he's not going to go anywhere. If I was Man City or PSG, I actually think the more comfortable shout is, I mean, Haaland's 20 years old and looks like he's going to go light the world up. But my God, Harry Kane is a joke. And particularly if you're Man City, you're looking at the Premier League, you've got 5 years of Kane and they're owned by a country, effectively, like a monarchy. So go get Haaland in a couple of years' time once he's done his thing.
I agree with you. Go on, Quakes.
Can I counter what you're going to say there in terms of if Spurs were to sell Harry Kane, it would signify them not being a big club? I completely disagree. I feel like we've seen examples of when Spurs sold Gareth Bale, they became a better team in the long run. When Liverpool sold,
what did Gareth Bale do when he left Spurs? Win 4 Champions Leagues.
But we're talking about the effect it has on Spurs. Doesn't it? Spurs became a better team. They were a top 4 team consistently after Gareth Bale.
What did they win?
Bought in Christian Eriksen. They're a better team for it.
Yeah,
the same as Liverpool when they sold Coutinho. They became a way better team for it. If you can get 150 million for a player that wants to leave, the fans won't begrudge you for the club for selling, and the club can like command a huge fee for them. Why would you not sell them? I feel like
Of course,
the club
but
there's
I
two
think...
Sorry.
You go, Jay.
There's two things that I want to address there. Like one, what Goku was saying is very very true. It just depends how the club chooses to reinvest the money that you get in for them. Talking about the Bale move, for example, Tottenham brought in a lot of players that ended up leaving the club quite soon after, and the money that they reinvested from the Gareth Bale move, I think the only person that's still at the club is Eric Lamela. Whereas with Liverpool, obviously they reinvested it in a big way. They signed Alisson, signed Virgil van Dijk, quickly became, the strength of their spine in terms of, winning them the Premier League. And just to draw back on something that Louis was saying a minute ago, I don't see him staying at Spurs this year. I really don't. I don't think the designated Spurs journalists what's the name of that? Adam Leventhal. The Athletic. Sorry, yeah, I was going to say the Anchor, but I've got Anchor on my head, right? So I don't think the lead journalists for the Athletic, of Spurs find out about that unless Daniel Levy wants them to find out about it. I think he's putting Harry Kane out there. Like you said, they've got that new stadium. They've got a lot of debt, and they're not even getting gate receipts right now to facilitate some of the debts that they're getting. So I think they're going to need to consolidate. And this is the reality of football existing in a COVID world. I do think Harry Kane has to leave this year for financial reasons for Tottenham.
There is that massive sort of point hanging over it in terms of the fact that we are in unprecedented times. But in that sense, who's got the money to pay for Harry Kane? And also, we're talking about Liverpool investing. Liverpool got 142 million euros for Philippe Coutinho, which, in regard to his value to them, does not represent anything in terms of Harry Kane's value to Tottenham. 150 million to Tottenham for Harry Kane. Surely you'd say no, really. Without him, they are,
for sure.
Let's say done.
But I'm not even talking about just the finances. I'm talking about what that creates for the team. We had a similar situation with Eden Hazard, where he meant everything to Chelsea, but him leaving allowed the team to grow in terms of players to take the place of, like, Harry Kane wouldn't be able to grow at Spurs if Gareth Bale was still there. Dele Alli wouldn't be able to come through the same way at Spurs if Gareth Bale was still there. And it's the same thing at Liverpool as well. Like, I feel like Harry Kane leaving can set like a new dawn at Spurs, not necessarily just.
Can I ask you?
But in terms of the players, go on.
Can I ask you honestly?
Yeah.
Do you think if Harry Kane leaves for 150 million, we see Tottenham finish in the top 4 in the next 3 years?
Depends on how it depends.
No, yes or no?
No, it depends on how they invest. It depends on what manager. If it's under Jose Mourinho, no. If they can convince Nagelsmann to come to Spurs, I think it could be a similar thing to Pochettino. Who would have said that when Gareth Bale left Spurs, Spurs were going to become a better team for Gareth Bale leaving? They became way better.
I get you, but I think Gareth Bale again, didn't represent the value that Harry Kane represents to Spurs.
Are you being serious? Gareth Bale, two-time PFA Player of the Year, Gareth Bale.
Of course, but I'm talking Harry Kane, who scored 200 goals for Tottenham.
Gareth Bale was the best player in the Premier League for 3 years without a shadow of a doubt.
For 3, I think that is an overestimation, mate.
Right, guys,
guys,
I'm nipping.
3 years.
Guys, 3 years he was the best player in the league.
Bollocks.
Guys, I'm nipping this one in the bud. I'm nipping this one in the bud straight away. We're going to clip this up, and this is what's going on Instagram. So Instagram, let us know who was a bigger player for Tottenham, Harry Kane, when he's firing on all cylinders, or Gareth Bale in his pomp. Let's say not including this loan spell. But talking of players that could be on the move at the end of the season, my guy JLINGZ. What are we saying?
Wait, do that again. Do that again. Do that again.
Nah, let's spot that. Let's spot that. What is it? Is it? It's that, isn't it? Is it that?
Right. Wait, what is it? Is it that?
That boys. I got a dodgy finger.
Don't know, mate. Don't know.
Remember the Dele Alli? What was that one? The one with the eye.
Oh, I'm not even going to try and do that because it's been too long.
Yeah,
that one.
Yeah. Anyway,
I don't think that's it. Is it? That's definitely not it. But anyway, JLINGZ, my guy. The guy's putting in unbelievable numbers. He's now being linked with all sorts of moves at the end of the season. Obviously, I think West Ham are favourites, but now teams like Arsenal are coming into the reckoning. I think Spurs have even been linked as well. Does he stay at Man United? Does he leave? What do you guys think?
I think he could stay,
Stay at United?
Weirdly, I think it's a really tricky deal to get done. I think he, given the option, would stay and fight. sort of potentially, I think there's been a massive reliance on Bruno Fernandes, and there will continue to be that. But I think as Bruno settles a little bit more, maybe there's going to be a bit more rotation in the midfield. I just can see him staying and, you know, carrying on to be sort of a rejuvenated Jesse Lingard, getting his squad minutes and performing, because that's all he needs to do for Manchester United to finish his career there and stay a legend. Just perform when he gets his minutes, and he has been out of form for a while.
Jesse Lingard has 8 goals.
I know, it's crazy.
And 3 assists in 9 games, and you want him to go back to Man United to sit on the bench and be understudy to Man United.
That's exactly, like, he's done enough, in my opinion, to earn a starting place at a Premier League team. And I feel like in terms of United's osmosis, like, although Jesse Lingard could come back and be an effective player for Manchester United, I feel like they're almost like past that. Like, not saying that he wouldn't fit in, but I feel like in terms of where they are as a club, I feel like Jesse Lingard's just kind of moved on, and they've moved on as well. And I think for both parties, it'd be best. The problem with Jesse Lingard is he's balling so hard that, like, the fee is just
a hard deal to do.
Yeah, the deal is so hard to do.
He's on a lot of money as well because he's a United boy.
Yeah.
So.
I think his contract ends the end of next season, so
they'll get him to sign another, and he will.
It's not.
There'll be an extension. I guarantee it.
I can't see it. I really can't see it. I think people are throwing out astronomical figures, but you have to be realistic. I can't see West Ham paying a ridiculous fee, knowing that his contract ends at the end of next season. Arsenal are a bunch of mugs. Let's be honest. They'll take anyone.
He's such an Arsenal signing, isn't he?
Yeah, that's so Arsenal.
Yeah, they would like. Do you know what I mean? Arsenal sign David Luiz when he's, you know, on the way out of a club. They sign William when he's on the way out of a club.
Welbeck. They've done it before.
Yeah.
But what about this then? A make weight for a Declan Rice deal.
Well, there is a lot of talk about that.
That's the thing. Like, and obviously we can talk Declan Rice. We haven't spoken Declan Rice in a little while. For me, I'm biased. I have to be biased. I'm a West Ham fan. I genuinely think that, you know, well, let's look at the facts for you know, for what they are. West Ham are currently 4th in the Premier League. There's a high chance that if we don't finish 4th in the Premier League, that we'll probably finish, you know, 5th, 6th and get European football next year. So for Jesse Lingard, what's a more attractive proposition? Playing for Arsenal or playing for West Ham, where, you know, he's not going to have a guaranteed starting spot, but he's going to have certain assurances. He's most likely going to be playing at European football, and he's going to be at a club that he's loved. Do you know what I mean? Because Jesse Lingard has really been embraced by the West Ham thing. So that's my first caveat on that point. In regards to Jesse Lingard signing for West Ham, I think a portion of that could be if Declan Rice is still at the club, because they know each other, and I know obviously Jesse Lingard now gets on with the club. I know he's spoken highly of Mark Noble and things like that. But talking exclusively about Declan Rice now, I think the best place for Declan Rice to be is West Ham, especially for the next couple of seasons. I'm a realistic West Ham fan. Quaker will tell you how highly I rate Declan Rice. He's already top 5 in CDMs for me in the league, you know, if not in the world for me. I rate him that highly, and I know his ceiling is ridiculously high. And I know that there could come a time when his ceiling surpasses that of West Ham's, you know. So I understand that he might need to move. But currently, he's got over 100 Premier League starts. He's captaining a side when Mark Noble's on the pitch. Obviously, he's injured at the moment. You know, he's arguably in one of the most effective Premier League midfields in the Premier League. You know, him and Soucek this year have been top level. They'd rival the top sides. You know, like the statistics say it alone. I'm not just saying that as a clueless West Ham fan. And he's captaining and leading it. He also loves the club. The fans love him. I don't see what a move to Man United now really offers him that a move at West Ham doesn't, because I think for his progression, and I understand he might move in the future, but for his progression, what's a better platform than what he's got right now?
Manchester United.
Yeah, no, and this is where I'll interject. I think the football, and wrongly or rightly, perception is reality. So if West Ham do make Champions League and Declan Rice is playing Champions League football next season, then I don't see any reason why he should leave West Ham, unless he's money motivated. Manchester United can double or triple his salary
for sure. Yeah,
but which is obviously it plays a part in football. But that's if West Ham make the top 4. But in terms of Declan Rice starts for England all the time anyway. But in terms of his acknowledgement in world football, of him being a world class CDM that you know he is as a West Ham fan, he won't get that acknowledgement playing for West Ham, whether that's right or whether that's wrong. That's just what it is. Which is unfair, but so the move to Manchester United will be for his own personal profile, but maybe to the detriment of his personal development. Because I'm with you, to develop him as a player, if he should stay at West Ham for another season. But in terms of his personal profile, in terms of him like pushing on to try and be this world-class centre midfielder that we all know that he can be, Manchester United or a team that's maybe got more of an esteemed history would be the right move for a player like Declan Rice.
But is Man United the right team for him? Because, like, if you would assume that, if it's not for financial gain, like, and you can never begrudge a football player that wants to, change their family's lives, forever, really. If he goes to Man United, he'll be on significantly higher wages than what he is at West Ham. Like, you have to just accept that. But does he win trophies at Man United? Does he win trophies? Because are Man United guaranteed to challenge in the league when Liverpool aren't, like a walking injury list and Man City are still in the league? Does he win the league with Man United? Does he win? Does he move to Man United so he might win an FA Cup or a Carabao Cup or get knocked out of the Champions League and maybe win the Europa League?
So he's going to stay at West Ham to not win anything.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Like, he's probably not going to win anything at West Ham. Like, I've been a West Ham fan for 28 years of my life. Like, I'm fully aware that we don't win things. Like, you don't have to tell me that. But I'm just saying, like, in going to Man United, is he even guaranteed to win things? We're not talking about Man United under the Fergie era, let alone the Mourinho era, where he still gets slated and for everything. But, ultimately, they won a Europa League. They won trophies. Like, the Man United win? Like, does he want to go play under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer? Like, the guy, like, look at the comments.
I love the passion. Go on.
Like, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, look at his comments on the weekend. Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
I'd fancy a midfield three of Fernandes, Pogba and Declan Rice, though.
Mate, can we just say one thing about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer? Those comments he said about Son on the weekend are ridiculous, because let's see him have that energy when you see, Fernandes going on the floor, like, as easy as that.
Bruno Fernandes is one of the worst players in the
Bruno is one of the worst things. The amount of penalties they've got this season and last season as a result of, like, him going down easy is ridiculously farcical. And for him to come out and say, like, talk about the guy's dad and feeding him and stuff like that, it's just like...
From your point of view, Jay, you just sound like you've got, like, an issue with him going Man United. From, like, Louis, in terms of you, what you're chiming in there saying you'd like to see him, or you think he should go to Manchester United. Why do you think he should go to Manchester United?
Well, I mean, I think we know... Well, I know you spoke on the pod about it a while ago. Declan Rice, obviously, absolutely gutted when Frank left, because that move looked like it was on. He's a Chelsea boy. I think a lot of us want to see it. Declan coming home, and I think it would be a really, really great move for him personally, obviously, and professionally. You come to Chelsea, you are going to win trophies. As Jay was saying, maybe not at Manchester United, but obviously, at some point. When the move comes for you, you're not guaranteed to win anything anywhere apart from Bayern Munich and PSG. Like
Man City, yeah.
Yeah, I suppose so.
But the point is,
the Premier League is you can always make the moves to knock someone off their perch. And there's so much competition going on. It's not a case of, we are worried about the Man City procession, and it could continue. Obviously, they've been one of the most successful teams in the country over the last decade. But you have to back yourself. You have to take the opportunity. And I think Man United would be a really good place for him to go and develop. Scott McTominay, I actually think is a brilliant footballer.
He's Scott McTominay couldn't lace Declan Rice's boots. Like, let's be honest about that. Let's be honest.
No, I think that's a massive injustice. I think
it's a massive fact.
I think McTominay is a really good box-to-box player. Again, Declan Rice is arguably coming in and taking his spot. As I said, if they can keep hold of Pogba, who knows where Pogba's going? Who's got the money to pay Pogba and take him? He'd probably have to stick around as well. So if Declan Rice, Paul Pogba, Bruno Fernandes, and you've got McTominay and Fred in rotation, that's a good midfield.
It's an excellent field, but midfield. And again, like, you can say I'm biased, you can say I'm emotional around the topic. I just don't think Man United is the right move for him.
There's probably not many opportunities though, and
yeah, exactly. Well, and arguably, is Man United a better opportunity than West Ham right now in terms of?
Come on.
What if Liverpool came in for him?
Well, then it's a no-brainer, isn't it?
Do you know what? Like, I would have more acceptance in him going to Liverpool than I would at Man United, because Liverpool's a project.
Yeah, to be fair, that's where I do actually agree, because, like, really and truly, going to play under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, like, are you going to be developing as a footballer there? Yeah, fair enough, go and play for Manchester United because they're Manchester United, but as a footballer, you want to go and play for a top manager. Look at Raheem Sterling. Like, Raheem Sterling, if he'd gone to play for Manchester United, would be lost right now. He would be a lost soul. But going to play for Pep Guardiola, now he's one of the best players in the world.
Yeah,
like, the manager makes a huge difference.
I agree. But I suppose this is where we're going to have to leave.
A long one.
We're going to leave it to the comments. We've got some things to unpack in the comments today, guys. So, right, firstly, Harry Kane. Where does Harry Kane go at the end of the season? Secondly, where does Jesse Lingard go at the end of the season? And 3, does Declan Rice stay? Does he go to Man United and flourish under an excellent manager in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, or does he stay under David Moyes? Kwaku, where can they find us?
Make sure you follow us on Instagram at We Talk Football Podcast, on Twitter at WTF Podcast 90. We're on Apple Podcasts, we're on Spotify. We're also on TikTok. I know it's a couple of a few grown men on TikTok, but yeah, we started a new feature where we're collecting football stickers, trying to harness our youth. So yeah, we're starting a new feature on TikTok. So make sure you follow us on there. It's We Talk Football Podcast. Also make sure that you like this video and subscribe to our channel. About 65% of the people who watch this video aren't subscribed to our channel, so make sure you hit the subscribe button as well. And yeah, we're back with more videos very, very soon.
Dick, and where can they find you, Louis?
In my bed.
Lovely. All right, catch you tomorrow, guys. Later on.
See you later.